So if you're wondering why it took me so long to upload this, well, one, it's because of all the stress that I've been having in my normal life, and second, after I finished watching the episode, which was a Thursday, and then reading all of Dante Ross's stuff, and then sampling all the stuff that Rob Sesternino had posted, he posted like way too much, even for him, okay? But like after I did all that stuff, my interest in talking about this episode just left like instantly. I tried to make the video and I was like, I am not feeling this at all. So yeah, that's why it took me so long, guys. I just couldn't do it, right? But now I think we can. So everybody comes back after Abby is voted out, and then suddenly Kimmy gets another shiny moment where suddenly it appears that we need to consider her to be the person in the middle of these voting blocks, and that kind of got me a little bit unsettled because I've been feeling kind of unsettled with how the edits were behaving in the past couple of episodes, so I was like, something's up here. It's odd, yeah. So then it becomes to be the next morning, and it definitely does look like that Kimmy is jumping ship, but it seems like the group of all the other people that that she's with is thinking that they're in absolute control and want to split the votes because of the idol situation, even though likewise they're convinced that Kelly Wentworth doesn't have another idol, and it makes sense, because two idols before that were found before the merge, were played, so odds are there's only one left. At least that's what their thinking is, based on the past seasons of Survivor, so yeah, they have every reason to suspect that, even though it did seem like that Spencer and Tasha were getting unsure about Kimmy. Then the immunity challenge, well, I really like this challenge called Step On It. Just, I loved it in Redemption Island. I thought it was just as good in Survivor South Africa Champions. And I love the fact how they added a puzzle at the end of it, because they're already tired, from running all the way up the stairs, so it makes them have to concentrate more. And even though it's a slidey tile puzzle, that's the kind of puzzle, that can easily confuse people with the 3D. I would honestly think that the sliding puzzle that Tony and Spencer did in Cagayan would be easier than that, so it seemed kind of obvious during the challenge that either Spencer or Kelly Wentworth was going to win, and something in me was telling me if Spencer can pull this out, his alliance is good. I don't know why I was thinking that, but just something told me if Spencer can win, I don't need to worry. So he ended up winning, which I was really glad about. So then it becomes a big issue at camp as to what is going to happen, because it's very clear that Kimmy definitely had flipped on Spencer, Jeremy, and Tasha. And it's not like that she doesn't have reason to, but the problem is, it does seem like that there was a little bit of a shift that went on with Tasha's character, because she was originally like the add-on that Steven brought in, after Jeremy played the idol for him, but how did she suddenly, increase her position in that group? Now, it could be that I missed something in the interviews, okay, because there were way too much for me to go through, even for a Survivor finale, okay? Because I've tried with the past finales to listen to a little bit of what everyone had to say. This time, I just couldn't, okay? So, it could be in those, okay? And that I just didn't hear about it. Who knows? One day I might go back and listen to them, but not right now, alright? So it's odd that Kimmy and Tasha, kind of switched places, because Kimmy was part of the Bayon Free that formed a good bond with Spencer on that second Bayon tribe, so, it's odd. And then Jeremy appears to be the only one who isn't concerned about Kimmy flipping, even though he's got the idol, which really worried me, because I wasn't really in favor of the Kimmy Wentworth and Keith group triumphing, because Kelly Wentworth was the only person on that side that I was actually interested in seeing winning, but I knew that even if she made it, she would have to do a good job of arguing her case with the jury, even though, she did have some things playing in her favor, absolutely, because of the bonds she made, or simply being on another side of the group, yeah. So at that tribal, that was a really intense tribal, one of the more intense ones I've seen in a long time, because the big question was, what's Kelly Wentworth going to do, and what is Jeremy going to do, because Kimmy, that was obvious. So Kelly Wentworth ends up deciding to take the chance with her idol because it's very much up in the air as to what could happen. There were so many variables going through her mind that, yeah, it didn't make sense for her to play that idol. And then as for Jeremy playing the idol, well, the thing is, if you think about it, it's actually much easier for him to play his idol because he, at that point, although we didn't know it, knew that it was a free vote, but all three of his group's votes was suddenly negated. Now, because Spencer is safe and he has the idol, he knows that it's a 50-50 chance of whether it's him or Tasha that has the votes. But in his mind, it makes more sense for the other people to write his name down. So, him playing the idol not only guarantees 2 out of his 3 groups safe, but he's fairly confident that the other votes, are going to be negated. So, he actually had much more detective reasoning than Kelly Wentworth, because what I'm just trying to get at here is that Kelly Wentworth playing it, that was chance. Okay? Kind of more like last time, even though I'm sure that she did have a darn good suspicion. Jeremy, that was a darn good suspicion from the get-go, although, of course, he only really started thinking about that once Kelly Wentworth played the idol. And, a lot of you are going to be kind of criticizing, like, Spencer and Jeremy and how arrogant they were at that tribal, but guys, think about this, okay? There's a little bit of sportsmanship going on and how, like, oh man, you had me fooled for a long time, and also after it is revealed, that all the votes were for either Kelly Wentworth or Jeremy, Spencer, who is a super fan of this game and knows all the tie-breaking rules in his mind, is thinking that his group is invincible for that vote and the next vote. Who wouldn't be arrogant for not having to worry for 48 hours, huh? Come on, his behavior makes sense. I'll admit, though, it isn't completely sportsmanlike in that situation, but... Huh? You get a lot of euphoria with this show. Trust me. Right. And then, like, that ultimate tie-breaking situation, I actually wasn't confused by that at all, because I'd been doing a good amount of reading of Survivor Wikia, and all of its entries on tie-breaking rules and rules of the show in general, so I wasn't confused by it one bit. And, like, when Keith stated, I'm not going to change my vote, I'm voting for Tasha, I just lost it, because I was thinking, dude, you just practically voted yourself out! Oh god, I had to pause the episode, I was laughing that hard. Oh gosh, Keith, bro. Right. But I'll admit, I was kind of surprised that the Spencer, Jeremy, and Tasha group weren't trying to spin the argument to get rid of Keith, because my thinking was if they got rid of Keith, that puts Kimmy and Kelly Wentworth, as kind of together, but they're unsure of their relationship with each other a lot more than Keith and Kelly Wentworth, who appear to have a good relationship despite the fact that they weren't part of a voting block for most of this merge, They only actually voted together last episode. So, right. But it didn't really matter in my book because they were the people that I wanted to see win the least out of the entire 6. So Kimmy going, it didn't surprise me that much because it was either her or Keith going, and in the end, Kelly Wentworth was like, I trust you more than her, Keith. So, yeah, it made sense for her to go. Ultimate thoughts on Kimmy, she did, try, I will give her that, and she didn't give Australian Outback really any negatives, but here's the issue. She also didn't give Australian Outback really any pros, although a little bit of that had to do with the edit. Even though, the edit did kind of screw, I think, everybody up, or just me, okay? It's either it screwed everybody up in these last few rounds, or it screwed me, and only me, okay? It's one of those two. Right, so, yeah, I give her credit, for trying, but the edit issue, yeah, I didn't feel like she had too much to show for it. Now, to be fair, she did make it. I think she would have gotten another different kind of edit. Everybody in the comments seems to have pointed that out, but yeah, with Joe, we need longer episodes, because... Actually, no, I'll get to this point I'm about to mention at the end, okay? I'll get to it at the end, right. So, everybody comes back to camp, and then it's obvious that at this point that it's Keith or Kelly Wentworth going, and everybody seems to have it in their mind, even before the immunity, whichever one of them doesn't win this immunity goes. Because, like, during that challenge, I'm like, it's either Keith or Kelly Wentworth winning this. I don't know why, but I think it's one of them. And I'm amazed that Keith was able to do so good at that puzzle, because they took, like, the Token Teens version of this puzzle, because the puzzle that they had this in South Pacific, which many of you will think this is what it's based on, was actually much simpler than the one that they had here, because here, one piece looked like it could fit a groove like anywhere, whereas like every piece in South Pacific had a distinct general shape, you know? Because you had like the flower bud, and then you had like the just simple bump of like the octagon-ish kind of thing. You know, it was just much easier in South Pacific than it was here, so I'm amazed Kelly Wentworth, was able to crack that, so good on her, especially since I was like, now we can give it to Keith, who's the only person who doesn't deserve it at all, yeah. Although, of course, there's still paranoia at camp, because Kelly Wentworth comes up with that idol, and then Jeremy is thinking, well, they're gonna vote either me or Spencer out. I gotta do what I can to make sure the target isn't on me. And I'm surprised that Keith and Kelly Wentworth didn't on camera, try and use that to spin Spencer against Jeremy. I'm really surprised that they didn't do that and instead were relying completely on Jeremy, but despite the fact that I was actually, kind of worried about it, because, like, I knew that the idol was fake, but Jeremy didn't know that. And there was still one round left to play the idols, even though historically, if the idol does get played at the second to last tribal, I don't think that they rehide it minus Micronesia, if I saw that challenge highlight vid correct. I really don't know, okay? Micronesia is the next season I need to watch, so... Vocal cords have been bothering me a lot lately. I think I've just been talking too much to myself. Right, so... in the end, at Tribal, Jeremy doesn't flip and Keith goes, and don't you guys find it interesting that both times he's voted out, they play that music when he gets voted out, like where an alliance appears to stick together or overcome the odds, to get rid of him. Now, some people seem to think that this is when, like, an honorable person gets voted out, but I don't know if many people would call artists that much honorable, even though ironically, by the time he was voted out, he was the Tandane member I think that people had the least amount of issues with, when just a couple episodes before, he was one of the bigger ones, huh? That's interesting, right? Yeah. Right, so... then it comes down to the battle of the Epic Four, like many people were suspecting, even though at that point, people are like, okay, it's either going to be Kelly Wentworth going if she loses, or she's going to win, and it's going to be kind of chaotic. But she ended up losing that challenge, and she was the first one to go, and like when she lost, that was one of the few times, where a person in the minority, or someone that really needs to win an immunity, losing it, that I just feel like... a weight was taken off of the season. Not just off my shoulders, in a sigh of relief, but just like, oh man, you realize it's over, yeah. Because when she lost, that hit home, even though I was still thinking, that the Alliance, had to stick together, because my thinking was, if Tasha won immunity, she actually might be convinced to turn on one of the guys. Now, I know that there's a few people out there who are going to cry that I'm being a little sexist, but the thing was, we were getting the least amount of camera time from Tasha, so I didn't know what was going on in her mind, so that caused doubt in my mind. Now, I was still thinking, okay, that if she made it, she probably wouldn't win against anybody, okay? But I didn't know of her standing in the group. That was Jeremy's bit. Right. But in the end, Tasha lost, and then Spencer lost, which was surprising, because I thought he would be the first one out. Turned out he was the last one out, and then Jeremy gets it, his first immunity this season, and his second one total. He actually won one in San Juan del Sur, yeah. So when he saw that, that was the first real indication to me that, Holy, he's actually in a better position than I thought, just because, the music that they were playing. I was like, I think actually, he's won, just because of that. And then seeing Spencer's somewhat arrogant moments at camp, I thought more and more that, yeah, I think Jeremy's got this sealed in the bag. If he gets rid of Kelly Wentworth, he's probably guaranteed himself the win, and that's exactly what happened, even though odds are he never really was truly considering getting rid of her, because in my mind, if a group of three overcomes that much odds of getting rid of Abby, tricking Kimmy basically into managing to vote out Keith despite extreme paranoia, you're gonna get rid of the last target. Huh? Right. But I was bummed to see her go, because Kelly Wentworth is an example of somebody who didn't do that much in their first season, and then like Pav according to most people, Andrea according to me, and then Tyson, even though it was more of second and third, obviously because I haven't seen Token Teens. Another person who come back and actually really improves themselves. So, good job to her. I really wouldn't be too surprised if they bring her back, and that'd be nice to see. So, that final tribal, third time in a row that the final tribal hasn't been that spectacular, even though this was a little bit better, but it was mainly because, there had been so much in this episode that they had to really rush it. And I was proven right about Tasha, because even Savage, who was arguably Tasha's closest ally at one point, he practically ignores her and instead focuses on the other two. And then who the heck was it where somebody wanted, Spencer and Jeremy to argue as to why the other person should win? It might have been Savage or Sierra. It's one of those two, I think. They didn't seem to believe Jeremy's pitch about Spencer, but ironically they believed Spencer's pitch about Jeremy. So I was thinking, even before Jeremy made that speech, that Jeremy's won this like 7-3, 8-2. Spencer's getting the remaining votes just so he beats Tasha, because even though he does seem to have caused more friction with the jury, people at least will probably understand him a little bit more, even though Tasha didn't play a bad game. It was just her edit kind of made it obvious to me that if she made it, she's third. But then Jeremy does that speech, and that practically guaranteed it. And like once he got the third vote at the reunion, I knew that it was him that was going to win this, and I was very happy about that, because after he left, he was one of the people that people were like, we know what this guy is capable of, but there's more to see from him. Invite him back, try him out. Like a lot of people thought about Brenda, although she kind of proved us wrong there, yeah. So, great job, Jeremy. And for the first time since Caramel, one of my top picks has actually won this season, even though that's not as bad of a losing streak as it sounds, okay? Because I didn't actually do any top picks for either Blood vs. Water season for entirely different reasons. Cagayan, my thoughts were all over the place for top picks. I don't even know why I bothered there. And the worlds apart, I naively trusted Jeff. Had I not trusted Jeff, I would have put Mike there instead of Sierra, so yeah. But it was nice to get a top pick right, because I had actually had my top pick win from Redemption Island all the way to Caramel. Well, not the top pick, a top pick, right? So it was nice to have it happen again. Although I do think it was a bit of a bummer that Spencer didn't get at least, one vote, because I honestly did feel like he had played a better second chance game, but yeah, like the edit here, I think that kind of threw me for a loop, because people have been saying for weeks that if it's Jeremy versus Spencer, Jeremy won hands down, but I kept thinking that it was a coin flip until after Keith was going, and then I began to start to think that actually I think Jeremy's got him beat big time. And yeah, he didn't need that speech, about his wife being pregnant, okay? He was going to win, okay? Even though, Kelly Wentworth, Sierra, and Kaz were all considering writing his name down, but yeah, Jeremy had it, people. Come on, alright? And then let's do the what if, since Jeff forgot to. What would have happened had Keith gotten there? I don't think he would have won. At least not against Jeremy. Against Spencer he might have, but just, yeah, I don't know. Seriously, Keith, huh? Crying out loud, Wu mattered more than he did. Ugh. Fans, come on, you should have done Shane, right. I know it sounds kind of stupid for me to be still complaining about that, but just... Come on, people. Comic relief doesn't work entirely as good on Survivor, because, this is another point that I want to make about the edit this season. This season, honestly, like with last season, felt like Big Brother, but for entirely different reasons. Last season felt like Big Brother because of all the social relations, how everybody talked to everybody, and how cutthroat it was. This felt like Big Brother because people kept changing alliances or voting blocks, whatever you want to call them, left and right. So much happened in this merge that I honestly do feel like we would have needed longer episodes to fully understand everybody, although again, it could have just been me, with all the stress that I've had in my normal life, making me not able to understand this, okay? But that's how I feel, so yeah. Now, as for next season, to everybody who's kind of shocked about it or complaining about it, we've actually known that this was going to be Brain vs. Brawn vs. Beauty 2 even before this season was announced. There were rumors going about it well before that, okay? Same thing with Caleb. We knew he was going to be here, okay? We knew that. Although I really wish that they hadn't let loose that 2 people get medevaced. What part of keep it anonymous do you not understand, Jeff? Oh my gosh. You seriously are having a bad issue with these next time bits, which is the only bad thing you did this season, okay? So, come on, get your butt in gear, Jeff. Right. But I actually am looking forward to it because this season reminds me a lot of Guatemala and how tough it looked like to survive out there. Now, I agree, okay, with Guatemala that it didn't necessarily have the greatest memorable contestants, but as a whole, I honestly do feel like the cast of Guatemala actually did have something to offer, and I find it a bummer that none of the newbies from that season have come back. Come on. Tons of people would like Brian to come back, and I think there's even a few people who would like Judd or Jamie to come back. Heck, Bobby John was offered to come back for one of the Bloodless Waters, so, Come on. Okay. Now, normally when it comes to seasons that involve either half returnees or full returnees, I do this little bit where I say, here are the returnees that improved, did fine in the transition, or downgraded themselves. But here's the thing. I honestly don't feel like there was that much downgrading going on because most of the people that I think we would perceive as bad actually were doing about the exact same thing that they did last time, okay? So I can't really say that many people downgraded themselves because people were doing almost the exact same things that made us dislike them, okay? Even Abby, even though, like I said that she was better, but the thing was she went from lowest to the low to, bad. Trust me on that, my dislike of Abby has lessened significantly, big time, really. So I'm actually not going to bother with those little bits. I want this season to, sink into my mind a little bit, right? And then as for round ranks, again, I'm not going to do that because I want to sit on this one for a little bit. But I will tell you this much, the curse of the All-Star seasons is finally broken because, as I stated, not too much people downgraded themselves. They just did the exact same stuff, and a person that I really wanted to see win actually won. Because, yeah, I was a little bit more for Jeremy winning over Kelly Wentworth. Sorry, guys, but that's just how I felt, okay? Had to do a little bit with the edit. So, curse of the All-Star seasons. Yes! See ya! And also, curse of the Australian Outback was kinda gotten rid of, even though Kimmy made the finale, which I was glad about. And for those of you who are still watching this video, I'd like to issue a bit of an apology to you guys, okay? Because throughout this season, I honestly don't feel like I've been on the best of my game when it comes to making these videos, okay? I don't know how much this is shown in them, but I've honestly felt that I just haven't been able to, remember as much because of all the stuff that was happening, and I gotta be honest, there was a part of me that honestly felt like I was making these videos more for you guys than because I wanted to talk about it, and just, it was just something that I was used to doing. Now, I'm not trying to say that, like, I hated talking about this. I didn't. It just wasn't as fun, alright? So there is a possibility with next semester that this same thing might happen, okay? But if it does, I know what to look for, so I should be able to inform you guys about this much earlier, okay? And it's not like this is completely unexpected, because if you watched my Why I've Been Gone video, I told you guys that this might happen, okay? So, still though, I feel like I should issue this brief apology that I wasn't as much on my game, because I did enjoy this season, but I don't think I enjoyed it as much as everyone did with everything that's been happening to me, so... yeah, so sorry about this, because, like, I wasn't able to rank the season, which is something that I always try and do, even though I'm beginning to think I'm going to have to create a new era for Survivor, because just simply going post-HVV, I don't think it's going to work anymore. I think we're going in the middle of another transition here, which kind of started at Cagayan, I think. Yeah, we'll see, people. Even though, like I said, I'm pretty darn sure that Survivor is going to be sticking around for a while, because even though they haven't said it, I definitely think that they're aiming for 36 now, and if they're still doing good once they hit 36, they're going to try and hit 40. Yeah. Later.